Well, welcome and thank you for attending Hawthorn University's webinar series. I'm Paula Bartholomew, the Director of Online Events here, and I'm always pleased to be able to be here together and able to facilitate these presentations. And we'll have time for question and answer period at the end of the presentation, and we'll certainly respond to your questions or comments at that time, but don't hesitate to write them into the question panel at any time. And just to let you know, we're going to record this presentation and it'll be available for replay on our website in just a couple of days. And, you know, because of our presenter, Angela Anderson is with us today, and there may be a number of new people that have not been here before. So I want to let you know, if you're listening for the first time, that Hawthorn University's Holistic Health and Nutrition webinar series is a platform that brings excellent information and resources for our students and our alumni and our faculty in order to augment their Hawthorn education and expose us to a wealth of knowledge and experience that our guest presenters bring to the table again and again. You know, the many ways that our students and grads are using their Hawthorn education in their practices is nothing short of amazing to me. We have a variety of accredited degree and certificate programs at Hawthorn, and some of those are for people that are pursuing a clinical track with the goal of working directly with clients, and we have other programs that are dedicated to folks that are primarily wanting to educate, whether that's by writing books or developing courses or workshops, programs, or doing public speaking or teaching for school, things like that. And then there are other options for those who simply want to learn valuable and credible information in a conducive environment. I just really feel that the success of our students is a testament to Hawthorn's mission and the principles to provide quality, affordable holistic health and nutrition education. And these are always open to the interested public too, because we love to learn more at Hawthorn and share it with everybody that wants to learn more too. Okay, that brings me up to today's webinar and the fact that awareness of nutrition and health practices are certainly growing. So we're fortunate today to have Angela Anderson teach us how to reprogram money code. We're going to reprogram here today. We're going to learn how to address our subconscious false beliefs about our worth and grow our health and wellness businesses with ease and flow. Angela will teach us that you want to address your issues from the inside out approach and start by adjusting your mind and your beliefs and your thoughts and your stories to be able to get your message out authentically and confidently. And with this approach, all the marketing pieces and the rest then becomes just much more natural and effective, because our thoughts are made of your beliefs, which drive our actions, which determine your results. And when this approach is accomplished, you're free to have a business that deeply serves and to live a life you love. So in this webinar, Angela's going to explain how all of this works, your mind, your beliefs, and how they're tied into your income and the science behind it all. So with that, I want to give you a little bit of background about Angela. If you've not had the pleasure of meeting her or working with her before, she's got over 20 years experience in personal development and entrepreneurship in the area of subconscious mind reprogramming, health and fitness, and business. Angela shows people how real change happens in their mind. And as an advanced Psych K facilitator and former employee at the Psych K Center International, which is a leader in subconscious reprogramming, Angela teaches people how to leverage proven neuroscience and mind management tools to unlock and transform their self-limiting, self-sabotaging, and negative beliefs about money. When she's not working with clients from all over the world, she spends her time with her husband and 2 boys in Colorado, and they are nestled at the base of Sangre de Cristo Mountains, just beautiful, and overlooking the Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, or traveling the world. Pretty good life there, Angela. So it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Hello, Paula, and hello, Hawthorn holistic health coaches and educators and practitioners and learners.
I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm really eager to learn more from your expertise and, you know, really show us how to understand and then implement this information. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you. So, yes, today we are talking about your money code, and we are going to explore reprogramming these subconscious beliefs that you have about money so that you can create true wealth as a wellness practitioner. So like Paula so eloquently said, my name is Angela Anderson. I'm a Psych K facilitator. And really, though, I am a health and fitness professional as well. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I just turned subconscious mind reprogrammer, and the work that I do now actually found me. So like you probably had a lot of knowledge and education and certifications and licenses in health and fitness. But at the end of the day, we have these stories that we tell ourselves, right? And so I work with coaches and health and wellness professionals and entrepreneurs, and we are these incredible people, but we have these stories about money and success and happiness and ways of looking at the world in deep-rooted beliefs. And what I have seen over and over again is that we can address the physical, right? We can eat salads and get education and get enough hours of sleep and try and reduce our stress and manage our physical world. But without the mental, emotional, and even spiritual components, it's difficult to really feel like a complete being and really open up your life to the health, wealth, and happiness that you deserve and that you're trying to help your clients with. So let's just get a few things out of the way. This class isn't about just the money. And what I mean about is I'm not just going to go on about money, 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 and numbers, 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 numbers. I'm also not going to give you a ton of manifestation and mindset strategies. We're not going to need to get out the Ouija board or anything funky like that. It's not something that I made up either. This is actually based in years of neuroscience research and studies. I'm also not going to talk with you about how you can flap your wings harder or work harder or try harder in order to get the results that you're looking for. And the things that I teach you today about money in your mind certainly is not a get rich quick scheme. What this class is about is that you have this money code inside of you. And this money code of yours is quietly running in the background of your mind, but it's running at the subconscious level. So it's just like the apps that you might have on your phone that show, those little red marks on the corner of them that they need an update. You may be coming to this class because you're experiencing signs and getting messages that you need a system update in your mind. And this is where your money code lives. So what are these types of signs that you might be experiencing? Well, if you are in health coaching as a business, you might not be making the kind of income that you want. You've spent money on education, maybe getting a website up, but maybe you can't really call it a sustainable income producing business after your expenses. And that is bothering you or frustrating you. Maybe you're not serving as many people as you would like to serve. Like, if you look at your calendar, you've got plenty of blank spaces there that you would love to fill up with clients. Maybe you're not as visible as you'd like to be, meaning like people don't really know that you exist and the services that you offer, the type of education that you offer exists. And maybe you feel like the success isn't happening enough. So that leads you to questioning yourself and possibly having a shaky self-confidence, wondering, am I doing the right thing? Should I pivot? Should I change? Should I do something else? So what we're going to cover in this class is this feeling of being stuck at a mental barrier reef when it comes to reaching a level of income that you want to have the most, and where this is really coming from and what you can do about it today. Because like I said earlier, really it's more than just about the dollars and cents or the euros or the pounds, okay? What it's about is that your limitations and your limitlessness, all of this is stored in your mind. So we're going to look at how your mind works so that you can go in and unlock your money code, and then how you can actually take the first steps to reprogram your money code at the level of your mind that is most effective. Because what this is really about is true wealth. So when you think about true wealth, what comes up for you? Well, each of us has very different lives, right? We have different goals and we have different definitions of true wealth. For many many of us, we want our health. We want to feel good. We want to be healthy. We don't want to have aching bones and doctor's appointments and be managing illnesses. We want to have wonderful, close relationships where we feel like we're deeply loved and cared about and appreciated, and we can give those things to another person as well, right? Of course, true wealth can also mean actual money and material wealth. It could mean just general happiness. What makes you feel good? How do you like to spend your days? And it can mean climbing the ladder and reaching a level of success that you would like to have so that you can make a bigger impact in the world and really do your life's work. But we can all agree when we're working on all of these aspects in our lives, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. And we can all agree that it takes more than a hammer, meaning we often need to use different tools and strategies to get the true wealth that we're working towards. And there's also more than meets the eye. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes when you start in on something, you get new information, right? You learn things that you didn't realize were there before that you needed to go through and learn. So as you start in on a journey, you also begin to learn more and have different kinds of challenges and that you need to look at and overcome. Well, how do you know this to be true? Well, here's the thing is we have these outside-in approaches, like Paula mentioned in the very beginning. And a lot of people try to solve their issues using these approaches, meaning that you keep changing up your offers or getting more and more education because you somehow think that you don't know enough or you need to have more knowledge in your head. And you're tweaking your marketing and you're constantly, you know, maybe you have a social media strategy and on and on and on. And what this is being overly focused on certain kinds of efforts like the tactics, right? The to-do lists, the services and the programs that you're doing, and the strategies that you're taking in order to execute these goals. And you're also stuck in what I like to call, quote unquote, the more. And you can write this down and start it and highlight it. And what the more is, and this is very typical for people who love to be educated, right? I love being a student and a lifelong learner, and I'm sure you do too. And I'm not saying that that's not important, but sometimes it gets to be a little too much, and we are stuck in getting another certification because we think that we're not good enough or that we don't have enough knowledge to help people. We take more courses. And these kinds of things, like I said, they're valid and necessary, but oftentimes they get us really stuck and they don't increase your bottom line. And they just end up making you feel more frustrated and worried about where you're going and how you're going to get there. So what you want to do instead of making all these changes and updates on the outside, what you want to do is look at your software. So I have a picture of a typewriter, if we even remember what those are these days. But if you look at, like if you were writing a document on a computer or like this typewriter here, okay? And you can see that there's a lot of, you know, pieces of paper crumbled on the outside. So oftentimes we find typos and errors and we want to reword things and grammatical mistakes, right? So oftentimes what we do, an analogy with this typewriter, with our own problems, our problems in business and getting clients and earning money and feeling good about what we're doing, is we take that piece of paper and we get the whiteout out and we fix the error with whiteout. And then we push print again and we look at the paper and we realize, wait a minute, the typo is still there. So that is what the outside-in approach often results in, is not really having any change whatsoever. So what you want to do is upgrade your software. It's handling things from the inside out. And when you do this, everything starts to work much better. Okay? So start by fixing your mind. what's in your mind, your beliefs and your thoughts and your stories. And when you handle this, then that is how you've unlocked and that is how you can master your money code. And all of these marketing pieces and the rest of the stuff becomes so much easier. Okay. Why? Because you're transforming the part of you where these initial programs are created. These initial programs that are telling you you're not visible enough or confident enough, or that you need to know more, you need to do X, Y, and Z to be successful, okay? When you do this, as the slide here says, you are free to receive as much as you want in a way that's perfect for you, because what you're doing now is you're getting to the root of the matter instead of trying to tweak and manage all these levers on the outside. And as holistic health educators and practitioners, I'm sure you can understand how much more effective this approach is to change, right? Let's say you're working with someone, you give them a meal plan to follow, but without addressing the mechanism that's causing them to make poor food choices, all the meal plans that you create for them in the world may not help them, right? Okay, so let's look at it this way. I want you to ask yourself and answer this honestly. If you could change one thing about your coaching business today, what would it be? What would it be? And you can let Paula know, and we can look at that at the end of the class here, or you can simply write it down for yourself privately or think it in your mind privately. Because what I want to tell you is when we go towards change, we can often feel like we're on a roller coaster ride. You know, having a business, being an entrepreneur, learning new things and new skills, writing a book, being a speaker, it feels like a roller coaster. There's a lot of highs and lows, right? We can feel very stressed out and challenged with time and feel like we don't have enough time to focus on building the success that we want. It could be that you're working other jobs while you're building your business. It could be that you have a family life and other demands on you. And at the end of the day, it feels like a lot of work, and some days kind of like an uphill battle. And these are the realities that we all go through. And these are the indications, my friend, that you are ready for an internal upgrade. It's kind of like sparks that are flying out of electricity that need to be rewired. Okay, so creating true wealth is about working with your subconscious mind to change your thoughts and attitudes and perceptions about the roller coaster ride, about the time requirements, and about the amount of work it takes you. Because all of your current beliefs or your current operating system, that is what impacts your relationship with money, success, and everything else at a cellular level. Yeah? So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, this is great, but what's different about this class compared to other classes that are saying that they're going to teach me to be successful, they're going to teach me how to make more money, and on and on and on. And where's the proof that listening to you, Angela, is actually going to make a difference this time? And somehow there are real answers for me here. Well, valid questions and valid thoughts. So in order to get what you need today, then I need you to embrace the fact that you're a powerful creator of your reality. We've got to really step into that. You also want to exercise this thought here, and this is very important. To the extent that your current mindset is on board with what I'm going to share with you, is the extent that you're either allowing or resisting this wealth. Okay, it's about allowing or resisting based on your current mindset. In order to get what you need, you have to actually embrace the mindset that you ask of your clients. So what is that? It's a mindset of learning, right? Being coachable, not being a victim to your circumstances, no matter how old you are, how long you've been in this business, how new you are to it, you can succeed. All right. And lastly, in order to get what you need today is, let's just wipe the slate clean for just this hour and erase what you think you know about creating success. So what do I mean by that? You know, I was one of those people when I was getting my health and fitness certifications. I loved being a student, you know, and Hawthorn's doctoral program that they're doing right now has me all interested because it's amazing and it's really important. And I worked really, really hard. I took massive action, and I was of this mindset of, you know what, just tell me what to do, give me the information, I'll absorb it and I'll do it. But when it comes to your unique path to success and your unique goals, there isn't always a straightforward manual. It's kind of like having children. You know, they don't come with a manual, right? They're all very different, and we can read all the parenting books we want and take the classes, but at the end of the day, we have to tweak and adjust. So what we might think about creating success, like using sheer brute force, positive affirmations until you're blue in the face, getting more knowledge and education, let's just set those things aside and learn this new information and take very detailed notes so that you can walk away and start applying it today, okay? So this is very important here. So write it down. There is a part of you that wakes up in the morning and thinks about all the goals you have, right? All the things you need to do, all the places you need to be and stuff you got to get done, reads all the self-help books and gets excited. Now, this is your conscious mind, and that's great. But we are going to dive deeper. Okay, come on, there we go. We're going to dive deeper into a larger picture here and go to your subconscious mind, because all these things that you are actually aware of is only 5% of the picture. The rest of you, the rest of the stuff that's going on is on automatic. It's this 95% that is 24/7 going on all the time. And it's this type of thinking that is very habitual and what is actually creating your reality. And that is where we need to go in order to move powerfully forward. Yeah? So your time is very valuable here. I know that being in this class is a very worthy investment of your time. So just listen with an open mind, be present and focused here, and I promise this will be immediately useful to you. In fact, one of the last webinars that I did for health coaches is someone wrote to me and they said, you know what, that class was amazing. I am booked out for the rest of the year. Thank you very much. So that was incredibly rewarding. And you can walk away having that kind of feeling and those kind of momentum, that kind of momentum in your life and business as well. So do you recognize these common limiting beliefs? We're going to specifically now distill it down to money. Good money doesn't come easy. Money isn't that important. It's selfish to want a lot of money. You have to work really hard to earn a good living. And if I make a lot of money, people will think blank about me. They might think that I'm greedy. They might think that I'm selfish or egotistical, or they might want to take advantage of me. Okay, so these things, we all walk around with these stories. So how does this happen? Well, your money code is your subconscious creation. So let's dive into this. The research shows that you have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% of those thoughts are the same ones as you've had the day before and the day before and the day before. So if you find yourself stuck, lost, and feeling a little out of control, then you're right. And that is the way your human mind is built and how it is currently operating. Because we all have challenges. Even successful people have challenges, right? We get bogged down in the details. We get bogged down in how is this going to turn out, and what do I need to do, and where do I need to go, and why? And impatience gets the best of us, and we feel that change isn't happening quickly enough. We have difficulty finding the answers or solutions. But in response to this, let's consider that your life, and specifically your money code, and how everything is currently operating is either working to create wealth or block it. Well, how does this work exactly? Well, unfortunately, most people grossly misunderstand how their minds work. If you see this iceberg here, often in psychology class, you've probably seen this analogy that your conscious mind is what you can see above the surface level of the water, right? And then there's a much larger portion of the iceberg underneath the water that you can't see, that's your subconscious mind. Well, how this works specifically is that your conscious mind has these ideas and decisions and goals and judgments going on. So it says, okay, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to, go grain-free or be vegan, and so that I can reach this goal of, lowering my cholesterol medication. And then if you don't achieve that within a certain amount of time, you make judgments. I'm bad, I'm not worthy, this doesn't work for me. Or if you do achieve it, then we do also make positive judgments. But then you have your subconscious mind that is habitual, and it just repeats programmed patterns. And here's what's very important for you to understand is that your subconscious is so different than your conscious mind. And it's your subconscious mind that determines whether you're actually going to carry out any of those ideas or not, whether you're going to stick with those decisions, whether you're going to reach those goals, and how you're going to judge yourself. All right? How do you know this to be true? Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever changed your mind about something and discovered that your mind has a mind of its own? Yeah, right? And as much as we love to flip the switch and say, I'm making X amount of money or above by the end of the year, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, your subconscious mind might have something else to say about that. So how was your money code created? Well, look here at all of these graphics and these messages here. When you were a child, you were heavily influenced by the people and experiences in your life, right? So you received messages, you had experiences, you observed lots of things, and then as a result of that, see, there was no filter. There was no, you weren't thinking to yourself, well, should I believe this or not? You just soaked it in. And then you formed perceptions. And these perceptions are what you think about yourself and the world, including money. And that shapes your values and attitudes and feelings and thoughts and reactions and habitual behaviors. And it's in this part here where your beliefs lie, and everything is just setting on repeat mode, and it's just repeating itself over and over again. So that is how your money code was created. So very simply put, your money code is a set of very powerful programs stored in your subconscious mind, running 24/7 all the time, often in contrast to what you are consciously aware of and doing. Well, how do you know this to be true? Look, all you have to do is take a look at your life and look what's going on and start going backwards, because everything that you've created and participated in is supported by beliefs that have been generated early in your life and then compounded by more complex experiences as you've gotten older. So let me give you a specific example. This is a friend of mine named Karen. And when we were working together, she was kind of like, you know what, if I earn more, then more is going to be required of me. I'm busy, my kids are young, I only have a certain amount of hours to work during the week, and I want to serve more, I want to grow more, I want to, have better couches. But my goodness, I can't think of what my life would be like if I had more responsibilities on my shoulder, okay? So another way of looking at this is that one part of you is working really hard to try to move forward, and another part of you is pulling you back in another direction. It's kind of like tug of war, one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. And when you are a high achiever, it's very difficult to not always be doing something, right? Raise your hand if you love being productive and getting things done, right? And I remember for years, there would be times in the middle of the day that I would be tired and I would want to relax on the couch and just not do anything. But when I would hear my husband coming in from outside, I would jump up and start doing something busy because there was something about my self-worth that said, if you're not productive, you're not worthy. If you're not productive, you're not valued. If you're not contributing and always doing something, then you're worthless. And this is supported by society all around us. And this really affects the kind of income that you make and that you can create and how you spend it and use it and grow it. So why is all this important for you to understand? Well, if you don't start reprogramming your money code at the subconscious level, then you will be unlikely to reach significant levels of wealth that you've never had before. All right? Because you've got to get the reins on your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is so critical. Now, I'm talking about things that you can't touch. I'm using a lot of touchy-feely words, right? But your subconscious mind governs everything that you do and every thought that you think because it oversees your beliefs. And it's really important that you get the reins on your subconscious so that you can have it take you to where you really want to be going. Your subconscious mind is not malicious, right? Its job is to just keep you safe by repeating patterns and behaviors and ways of thinking. And I'm going to teach you here in a little bit how to interrupt that pattern and give your subconscious mind a new set of instructions so that it can internalize those instructions and put those on repeat mode, the ones that are positive and self-enhancing. But right now, all of us have old patterns, and they're often very pesky, and they're filled with limiting beliefs, and that is running wild on your mind, such as those limiting beliefs that I spoke about early about, money is hard to come by and whatnot. So let me give you another example. You might know Karen. Karen is the host of the Wellness Business Podcast and the creator of the Business Insiders Club, and we had a chance to work together. And she says, reprogramming my beliefs about how I work so I can increase my freedom helped me just go with the flow during the process of creating the Wellness Business Insiders Club, my monthly membership program for wellness coaches. I haven't been wound up at all. Now, maybe you've had an experience where you've really wanted something to happen in your life. You wanted to make it happen, but you're scared and you're fearful, and you actually come across as being, pushy and squirrely and crazy. And that actually pushes people away and does crazy making for you. Well, when you can work with your subconscious mind about what you really want and what the beliefs you need to have to support your goals are, then you can move into big projects like this in new territories with so much more ease and flow and have a lot better of an outcome. So you have a powerful decision right now. Your decision is, do you want to keep doing what everyone else is doing and keep hustling on the hamster wheel? Or do you want to begin to go another route? All right. So the results here, when you go another route, is back to Karen, is one of the goals that we worked on was not feeling stressed that more money would mean more responsibility, right? And more being required out of her. So what we did was we switched those limiting concepts to her new goals, which were, I'm reliable, I'm consistent in how I show up, I trust myself, my ideas, and the universe. And how that worked is that we helped her subconscious mind adapt to these new programs and embrace these new ideas of what she wanted to do and who she needed to be. And then she said, you know what? In 2 weeks, a floodgate of opportunities came my way. And it was almost funny. It was so easy. And what happened with her specifically is that she created a waiting list well into the next season for her client roster. She filled it faster than ever before. She received a series of yeses from very big speaking gigs, and she started filling an ultra premium private coaching offer without changing anything differently on the outside. Now, I want you to imagine for yourself what it would be like to free yourself from what holds you back from creating what you really want. So the bottom line is that you are powerful. You create your reality, and it's all operating at the subconscious level. And when you change your subconscious, you can change your reality. So now let's move on to understand a little bit of science and how your mind works, how your subconscious actually works, and some research that shows why changing at the subconscious level is the direction that you want to go. Yeah? So here are 5 aspects of what your subconscious mind is like. Because the first thing we need to understand is what it's about, because we tend to, kind of like animals, we tend to where we want to make them have human characteristics, we make a lot of assumptions about our subconscious mind that are incorrect. Your subconscious mind is like a 5-year-old child. It's a multitasking master. And if you are my age, you might remember that little rat that was a cartoon called Speedy Gonzales. It's like Speedy Gonzales. You are not a victim to your biology and your genetics. And your subconscious mind is like your best friend that actually has your back. Now, subconscious mind is like a 5-year-old child. However, it's very bright, but very precocious and not very wise. Okay, so your subconscious mind has a lot of tools in the sandbox, but doesn't always know what to do with them. So that's when you're probably thinking, yeah, you know, I'm educated, I've got this going on and that going on, and I meditate and I visualize and I journal and I do the best I can. I put my best foot forward. I have a wonderful work ethic. But here's the deal, is your subconscious mind doesn't always know what to do with those tools. So what happens is that you tend to repeat what you know just over and over again until something can get your attention and a change takes place. Now, why is this aspect of your subconscious mind important for you to understand? Well, being habitual, your subconscious mind is typically resistant to change through normal conscious processes. What do I mean by that? Willpower, flapping your wings harder, saying positive affirmations till you're blue in the face, those kinds of conscious processes, right? So now let's move on to it being a multitasking master. What this is about is your subconscious can handle multiple tasks. It has to actually in order to keep you alive. And it does this without you having to think consciously about every single thing you do. You know, what a gift, right? Your subconscious talks to all the cells in your body. It's in constant conversation with you, right? You don't think about breathing, but you are. You don't think about thinking, but you are. There are literally thousands and thousands of activities going on. So why is this important for you to understand? Well, remember how I talked about the 60 to 80,000 thoughts that you have a day? These thoughts that you're not aware of? Those are creating your reality. And like I said before, unfortunately, many of them are old, outdated programs, and they're just repeating themselves day in and day out. So what you need to understand is that you can change your thoughts and make them more positive and self-enhancing at the subconscious level so that your reality changes. Very exciting stuff. So now let's go on to the little rat, Speedy Gonzales. What I mean by that is your subconscious mind and your conscious mind work at different speeds, okay? Your conscious mind processes about 40 bits of information per second, and that sounds pretty impressive when you consider that 40 things can happen in a second. You know, you park the car, you pick up the groceries, the phone's ringing, the dog's barking, you're managing all these things. However, when you look at your powerful subconscious mind, it can process 4 billion bits of information per second. And this is how more than often your subconscious mind is running multiple programs contrary to your conscious desires. Now, with this kind of information, I don't care what kind of willpower you have, you are not going to outsmart your subconscious mind. And why is this important for you to understand? Well, with its powerful ability to run thousands of programs simultaneously and quickly, your subconscious mind is always working to ensure you have everything you need for quick recall and access when you need it. I'm talking things like your mood, your behaviors, your habits, your perceptions, and your beliefs, along with your ability to not have to relearn how to walk, ride a bike, or even recall your phone number, okay? So have no fear though, please. Your subconscious mind, you know, some people think, oh my gosh, it's this deep, dark abyss, you know, Freud went on and on about it. It's not something for you to be afraid of. It's actually a wonderful tool, and it allows you to manage much of your life experience automatically. You don't have to be consciously aware of everything that's happening around you or everything you're doing. It just gets handled, and that is such a gift. Because without your subconscious mind, your conscious mind would be very overwhelmed by the vast amounts of information processing required to function in your complex reality. So the conclusion here is that when you consider the power of your subconscious mind versus the aspects of your conscious mind, you definitely want your subconscious on your side. If your subconscious is not in agreement with your conscious goals, then you usually go nowhere. So how is this showing up in your life? Well, have a look at one of my clients here, Jordan. She knew that her limiting beliefs were holding her back, and despite her best efforts, she wasn't changing. She was constantly second guessing her validity. Did she know enough as a health coach? Would people trust her? Would they believe her? And for as long as she could remember, her chest would turn beet red when she was doing Facebook Live videos and talking to people and trying to educate. And she began to realize that all of the conscious methods that she was doing to work on her confidence and her skills as a health coach, they were not able to override that part of her mind that was running these old, outdated programs, and her money code included. So what I'm saying here is that she saw that 5-year-old child in the sandbox with tons of tools and toys surrounding her, yet she was just repeating what she knew over and over again and not getting any different results. So what we did is we programmed beliefs such as I'm confident and I embrace making a lot of money as a woman and a mom. And just a few days later, she reported that her thoughts and her moods were more positive, that she had more confidence in speaking out to her community. Her chest no longer was turning beet red, which is huge because she was like, Angela, as long as I can remember this was happening, it's not happening anymore. And she wasn't second guessing the information that she was sharing and was no longer worried about how people were responding to her. And then just a few months later, she's now speaking at live events, she's guesting on podcasts, and she's going to development retreats. So my question to you is, now that you have this information, do you see the power of your subconscious mind, and are you excited to start working with it? Well, let me show you how. Let's get into the first steps to reprogramming your money code, working with your subconscious mind. So the good news here is that if you were programmed at some point in your life, then it stands to reason that you can also reprogram yourself. It's never too late. If you are in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, you can do this. And you're probably wondering, okay, Angela, that sounds great, but what is reprogramming my mind like? Okay. Well, it's like I said, updating the software on your phone. Just like when your phone sends you a notification for an update, you can do the same with your mind at the subconscious level where it matters the most. Now, just erase from your mind, though, it's not the outside first, inside last formula. It's not necessarily the mindset work and the routines or the coaching or the masterminds or the marketing and the business strategies. Like I said, those are important, but sometimes if you feel like they're not working, it's because you're putting the cart before the horse. The trouble with those methods is, to some extent, they may work, but they don't always do what we need them to do. And this is what I'm talking with you about here. If you're stuck, then here's where we need to go. All right. So those methods are like putting whipped cream on garbage, right? It's kind of like painting your nails in order to cover up the vitamin deficiency that your nails are showing, instead of eating consistent good nutrition and putting it in your body over and over again. Same thing with working with your mind. So let's admit to ourselves, though, that there is often a huge gap between our wisdom, meaning all the wonderful things that we read in books and we take in courses, and then what our life actually looks like. So what we need to do is recognize the first steps here is that the power and ability for you to get rich in a way that's perfect for you, is not outside of you, it's within you. So how do we do this? Well, we've got some steps here. First, we need to get to your subconscious mind. I'll show you how to do that. The second is you need to communicate with it in a language that it understands, not in Russian, but in a language your subconscious mind understands. And then lastly, simply transfer your desire to the subconscious. So how do we get to your subconscious mind? Well, I personally use muscle testing, and that is what we use in the Psych-K method, is muscle testing. So how does muscle testing work? Well, when your mind is holding a stressful thought, a conflict is sensed, and then the signal strength to your body is reduced, which results in a weaker muscle response. And this works brilliantly when testing beliefs and finding out what's going on in your subconscious mind. Because if it doesn't believe that you are, worthy and deserving, it's going to test weak. So you're going to get a very clear indication. It's like walking around with your own biofeedback machine. It's incredible. Okay, so that's the first step, is communicate with your subconscious mind. And the method that I recommend is muscle testing. The 5 key criteria to communicate now. Now we've got to talk with your subconscious mind in a language that it understands. There's 5 things that you need to consider when you're speaking to your subconscious mind directly in words and in language. Okay, so write this down. You need to use first person, I or me statements. I am healthy, wealthy, and happy. Those kind of statements, yeah? The next thing is present tense. Not I will be such and such and such, it's I am. Okay, so act like it's already your current reality, because your subconscious mind does not live in the past. It doesn't dwell in the past. It doesn't worry about the future. Its only reality is right now. You need to state it in the positive. Instead of, I don't want to be stressed out and worried anymore, you want to say, I want to be in the flow and relaxed and at ease. Okay? The 4th thing to communicate with your subconscious mind is short. Okay? If we have sentences that go on and on and on and on and on, it's just too confusing. So something really short, like I am truly rich, or I am capable of earning an excellent salary as a holistic health coach, okay? Something very short. And then the last thing is emotionally meaningful. It's got to grab you emotionally and be from you. There's a lot of wonderful books and ideas out there with positive affirmations and wonderful statements to say, but if you don't identify with them, then it's not going to be as effective for you. So the best thing to do is come up with your own words and have it be so emotionally meaningful to you that it actually makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit. Now, the next step we want to do is we want to take these desires, these I am healthy, wealthy, and happy, I earn X amount of money on a monthly basis doing what I love, that kind of stuff. Those are your desires. And we want to transfer them to your subconscious mind. How do you do that? Well, let's look at the research. There's a great deal of research that has been done that shows that you have 2 hemispheres in your mind, of your brain, okay? So we're wanting to transfer these desires to both of these hemispheres. Now, you've got a left side, right, and a right side. So quick background on these sides and how they work. They're responsible for controlling your body, for how you process information, and how you deal with situations and circumstances. So when you think about that, you think, oh, well, I'm right-brained. I'm more creative. I like to go with the flow. Or you might think, hey, I'm more left-brained. I'm very analytical. I like numbers. I like things in order. But this idea that you are left-brained or right-brained is actually pop culture, okay? It's your birthright to access and simultaneously utilize both hemispheres of your brain. But the truth of it is most of us over-identify with one side over the other, and that's what causes this feeling of I'm left-brained or I'm right-brained, that kind of thing. So in order to transfer your desires to your subconscious mind, you need to create whole-brained thinking. You need to create a whole-brained state. And this is the ideal way to work with your subconscious mind and change its neural pathways. And there's years of neuroscience research and brain mapping that show this is the ideal state to access your subconscious mind and change its neural pathways. Well, how does this work exactly? When you create that whole brain state and work with your subconscious mind, it's like picturing this field of grass right here, okay? Have a look at it. Let's say that you are building your dream home in the middle of that field. Well, you need to create a pathway, right, in order to get in and out. So you start to drive over the grass and you flatten it each time you go back and forth. And after a while, right, a clear path has been formed and the green grass doesn't grow as tall or as strong there anymore. What you've done is you've given it energy and a path has been created. And this is how working with your subconscious mind works, okay? So specifically, this is a host that had me on his podcast. He is a health and wellness professional and a podcaster, and we work together. And he said, if you feel like something isn't clicking and you have everything else right, then there's something you don't know that's going on. Subconscious work broadly expanded me and everything changed. I have a whole new level of confidence. I started a mastermind group with people working at high levels, and I'm just one away from having it full. People who I used to see as so far ahead of me are now easily within my reach because I believe I can offer them value. Subconscious work is different than anything else because it's so hands-on. Everything else is journal, reflect, and repeat. Well, you might be thinking, okay, Angela, I remember in Living Color, it's kind of like Saturday Night Live, and I remember Jim Carrey, and there was a skit where he was hypnotized, and then he had to cluck like a chicken for the rest of his life because the hypnotherapist died and didn't bring him out of hypnosis. Am I going to have to do that? Is that what subconscious mind is like? Work is like? No, 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 absolutely not. And you may be thinking, well, does that mean that I have to you know, make all these appointments and go see a therapist and lay on a couch and they're smoking and going, and I'm having to say all of my problems? It's actually not about that as well. What this is about is that every thought that you have is actually a vote for how you want things to be, okay? And it's about, number one, being aware of your subconscious beliefs and learning a simple, easy process to change them, okay? So how you do that is you, like I said earlier, we're going to recap here, is you can muscle test to find out, what are my beliefs? Do I believe I deserve this? Do I believe I'm worthy? Do I believe I have the competence? And if not, then you form those belief statements, those first person present tense, short, emotionally meaningful statements. And then lastly, you create a whole brain state of thinking and give that and feed that to your subconscious mind. For some people, meditation creates that. For other people, emotional freedom technique, EFT, which is tapping, creates that. For others, Psyche creates that. Okay, so there's many different modalities that exist out there. But the point is what you can expect when you work with your subconscious mind is having a more relaxed and confident state of being. This is about being less uptight, less of anxious, less of a workaholic, less of a control freak. Okay, this allows you to show up fully in your business and in your life with less stress and less anxiety and less questioning. This is about better cognitive processing. So when you work with your mind in this way, you can think more clearly and you can be focused, because what happens is your prefrontal cortex is getting work done with it, and that is responsible for your thinking. And that is then able to work better, and it allows you to create in your business as well as manage all the tasks without the stress and anxiety. You can expect a greater sense of ease and comfort. And so what this does is it allows you to settle in more of a state of trust and faith in yourself, okay? You can release long-held stress and tension because your physiology is improving. Oftentimes you'll sleep better, you'll become, healthier, you'll be able to be present and live now and enjoy your life now and have this work-life balance. When you change your beliefs and your patterns and habits, then you can live life on more of your own terms and according to what makes you happy and what is in the greatest good for you and your family and your community and the world. Changes actually occur in your brain, and old neural pathways dim and new neural connections are made so that when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night, you more easily move in the direction you want to go without all the constant effort and willpower. So specifically, how does this show up in your life? Well, what about more vacations? How's that sound? What about being booked solid with dream clients? What about having consistent and large EFT? These are those automatic bank deposits from clients, right? I remember I was in a corn maze with my kids when they were like 4 and 6 years old for a school thing. And I remember getting my first notification on my phone that I received money from a client. It was incredible. Okay, what about hours of uninterrupted family or me time? Instead of constantly checking the computer or the email or whatever it is that you're doing, having your hands in some kind of project, you can just shut it off and know that you are doing enough. You are enough and it's working. Okay, what if you knew that the mindset habits that you are doing are working for you? I'm not saying don't meditate. I'm not saying don't journal. I'm just saying that those things are a joy and something that add to our lives instead of something that we feel frustrated with and that they're not working. okay? And what if you actually feel like your problems are melting away? You know, I've seen people that have started their journey with subconscious work, and they took care of all of those, you know, issues with work and relationships there, and now they're married and have a family life, and so they're doing the subconscious work with what is coming up with that new phase of their life. And so as you move from one stage of your life to the next, you can handle those challenges and those problems. So let's recap here. What we learned here, what I shared with you, is how your mind really works, so you can finally start earning with ease and enjoying more freedom. I shared with you the science behind how your mind works, why it's important to start communicating with your subconscious mind and aligning yourself with it. And then we talked about these first steps to reprogram your money code at the level of your mind that is most effective. So my question to you now is, what are you gonna do? And do you see the power of your subconscious mind? And are you excited to reprogram your money code so you can finally be rich? Be rich in a way that works for you, because it's not just about the money. So I want to tell you that there is a lot more. There's broad strokes here that I'm sharing with you. There's a lot more, and I would love to be able to share that with you. So what you can do is you can grab a couple goodies that I have for you. I have a free Reprogram Your Money Code Success workbook. That's a PDF download. And then I also have a Be Rich Now complimentary session. And this is where, if you want to move forward with working with your beliefs and your subconscious so that you can be rich now in your life and business, then we can talk. So here are 2 links for those 2 free goodies that you can get. The Success Workbook is at bit.com/MC-Success Workbook. And then you can see the other link for the complimentary Be Rich Now session. So let's just close here with one of my favorite quotes from Einstein. It's, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them." So if you are serious about working with this whole money issue, then choose to reprogram your mind, choose to work with your subconscious level, because when you do that, your thoughts will change, and that then affects the decisions you make and the feelings that you have and the actions you take. And then it opens up the people and the places and the opportunities that you need next that are in your highest and best good in your life, and that shows up. All right? So that is all that I have for you today, and we will move into Q&A.
Great, Angela. Thank you so much. It was very informative and pretty exciting, you know, to consider the inner workings of one's mind and how to simply and effectively alter in a more positive direction. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. And excuse the coughing. I had a little froggy in my throat there, but I think I'm good now.
Okay, good. You know, take a pause, have a drink, and we'll move into some questions. You know, will you repeat the poll question so that people can type that in if they want to?
Yes. So the poll question is, what do you wish would change right now in your business? What's the one thing you wish would change?
Okay, let us know, please. And any other questions that you have, just post them to the question panel. You know, this really makes me think about neuroplasticity, right? And we can change our minds and we can change its patterns. We have a flexible mind. um, um, You know, I've worked at a subconscious level for a number of years as an advanced alchemical hypnotherapist, so I'm really familiar with some of the concepts that you're presenting here and really appreciate it. I think one of the first thing that stood out was your allow versus resist slide, and I think it's so important for us to explore and to investigate what our beliefs are on it. False beliefs, true beliefs. It's like it may be true, but not. It may be a belief, but not accurate. There's no way to go, right? We believe it, but it's not true.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you are a hypnotherapist, and you're right. changing our minds and our patterns, it is so flexible. And some people actually confuse the brain with the mind. So if I may, can I shed a little light on about changing your mind and the
Yes, please.
neuroplasticity with it? So the brain simply actually is the gray matter in your cranium. And sometimes I get a little nerdy because I want to be specific with people that your mind, though, it's an electromagnetic field, right? That's constantly changing. So that is what you were referring to with the neuroplasticity, where you can manipulate that. And the beliefs are simply just information that we received, and we interpret them to be true or false. So when you actually bring that up to a level of, wow, everything that I see in the world is true or false. And I don't know if we have any students of A Course in Miracles here, or if any folks have heard of that, but
Sure.
A Course in Miracles, some of the very first lessons in the workbook are questioning everything you think you know.
Yes,
It's very
it's a
powerful.
powerful course. It certainly is. But I'm coming back to this rather than I think erase. I think my kind of the issue is, that's like, just erase these beliefs, and I find that exploring what's in our mind, and really investigating, giving ourselves the attention to explore with love and compassion and kindness, not judgmental. We get in there and start judging what's in our mind, but it's like, what's really here, it is a way to be able to access. And then in terms of false belief busting, um, it's like, what is the belief? If the belief's I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, I'm too fat to do this work successfully, I'll never succeed no matter what I do, right? If I'll put it in my perspective first. If I hear myself saying something like that, I immediately I'm like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to be repeating that to myself. So I can take any one of those and just take the negative out of it. I am worthy. I am good enough. I know enough. I'm acceptable exactly how I am to do this work, and I will succeed no matter what. I will succeed. It's it's that powerful, I think, in terms of identifying and be able to make the switch, and to repeat that enough until we believe it. So what do you think of that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, repeat is one of the themes that kept going, reoccurring in the webinar today. Is your subconscious mind, that's what it's on, is on repeat. So if you can get that message in there to repeat for you automatically, you're pretty golden. In terms of when you're talking about, yeah, having awareness of that belief, I don't know about you, Paula, and I'm sure you've had some days is where things are chaotic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going a million miles an hour. There's a lot to do, and we simply don't afford ourselves the time to sit down and figure out what's going on in our minds. I mean, heck, the Game of Thrones is happening, you know.
Yeah.
We want to go do that kind of thing, and have a glass of wine and buffer. But which is really helpful when you do set aside the time to work with another professional, or even be a part of these trainings that you do at a Hawthorn, to get
Mm-hmm.
yourself to sit down and ask those questions. And then another thing that you said that was really great was about not erasing things, but
Mm-hmm.
exploring with love and compassion. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember a conversation that I was having with Rob Williams, who is the originator of Psyche
Mm-hmm.
at the Psyche Center International. And he told me, he said, Angela, you don't ever want to get rid of any files. You still want to have the file that you have, the ability to kill something, because if you are in danger and you need to defend yourself, then you want to be able to bring that program up and play it
Yes.
out.
Yes.
So I think that is very wise that you said that it's not about erasing or denying or getting rid of things. It's about pointing your mind in a new direction in a way that's loving and compassionate and kind, so that that could be the main theme of your life. And
Yes.
then when you need to draw upon some more of those primal things, you can, because they are necessary for our
Right.
survival.
And do you find also that when you're working with somebody and they've identified a false belief, I mean, you had a great slide there about forget, it was like corralling your mind, or like the big lasso around, the guy was like struggling to control it. And I have found a more, I think, um, gentler approach. And it comes back to when I find a false belief, it's like, oh, honey, honey, there's like, what would you say to your child that come up and just said, Mommy, I'm just not lovable. Nobody likes me. He's, you love them up, right? And help them shift that into a positive direction. And I think that's a powerful approach to our minds as well.
I love how you said that. It's true. We don't speak to ourselves like we would our own children or our neighbors or our friends. And I think that oftentimes when we're young and we have tons of energy, we just can power through.
Mm-hmm.
And I know now that at my age, where I'm at in my stage of life, I need my sleep, I need to honor my cycles,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to be more gentle with myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so we can learn it the hard way, or we can begin to just point ourselves in another direction and try something new.
Right. Right. But your technique is to use muscle testing. So how are you actually, as the practitioner, doing the muscle testing with a client, or is there a way that you're suggesting that people must muscle test themselves?
Yes, so I have, as a practitioner, I see clients in person, and when I'm able to do that, I muscle test with them, meaning
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one who's actually pressing down on their arm. And I've had other clients that have wanted to self muscle test, but we have found with our work that it's better to have someone else do it so that you don't
Sure.
get in your own way.
Right.
So that's in person now. Loving being able to work in the online space, I also, when I'm working online with a client, can teach you how to self muscle test.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and this is a bit of a stretch of the mind, but I think we can handle it, is there is a process called surrogation, which allows me to use my body to muscle test on your behalf. So the same frequencies that are coming through the internet allowing us to present this class today, we can tap into frequencies to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be very helpful for some people because once again, it's that getting out of your own way, trying
Mm-hmm.
to control results and skew things, doubting yourself. So the self-muscle testing can be a little tricky for some people because of those beliefs of, does this work? Do I doubt myself? And,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. I want to thank you again for this presentation. I think it comes up a lot in people in various ways of our life, but certainly around money, of not being worthy. And it's such a false belief. And you've really shown a pathway in, and clear examples of how addressing this can shift in a really powerful way to allow us to really live a life we love and that nourishes us and is financially viable as well. So yeah, appreciate the presentation a lot, especially like the Einstein quote at the end. It's one of my favorites too. But I have to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
Speedy Gonzalez, I always thought was a chipmunk, not a rat.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. I think he's a rat, though.
No, I kept looking at the tail on the slide. It's like, that's not a chipmunk tail at all.
That's funny. Yeah, so and you're so welcome. And for folks that are listening and even listening to this recording, I remember when I was working at the Psyche Center International and I was learning these things. And I was actually, I remember the day that I decided, okay, I'm going to ask Rob if I can start having sessions, if he can help me reprogram my beliefs.
Mhm,
And I was shaking, Paula.
mhm,
I was so scared. And so oftentimes we hear, well, if you're not making the money you want, then you've got to change your vibe,
mhm,
or you've
mhm,
got to change your energy. If you got all this
mhm,
negativity, there's nothing essentially wrong with you.
mhm.
Um, and the best thing that we can do for ourselves is reach out and get some help. So please do that. Please take some action. And if I can be of service, I'm here for you.
All right, thank you. I think it requires a certain level of vulnerability, right? To be that honest with ourselves and self-explore. All right, I have just a few closing comments, everybody. I was just I want to remind you that the webinar was recorded and it'll be available on our website under archived webinars in a few days. There'll be a survey to fill out after the webinar ends, and it always helps to have your feedback and any comments about this presentation, so I appreciate you taking the time. I want to give you a heads up about our next webinar on May 21st with Hawthorn faculty, Dr. Bianca Garilli, and she's going to bring a wealth of expertise to speak to us on the Military Veterans Healthcare Initiative. It's about improving awareness and access to integrative and functional medicine solutions. I just think this is a tremendously important webinar, and the goal of it is to increase awareness of the challenges in the healthcare that's facing the nation's veterans, and to explore the emerging integrative and functional medicine solutions to solve these issues. This is relevant to all of us as healthcare practitioners, so I'm really hoping you'll spread the word on this and show up for it. And our next All About Alumni, I'm also very excited about. It's on Wednesday, June 5th at 12 noon Pacific time. We have our Master of Science in Holistic Nutrition grad, Libby Barkochba, with us. And she's going to be presenting on her postgraduate activities, and she's going to bring a very unique perspective on this. So I hope you'll join us for that. And just to say, we've had so many previous terrific grad interview presentations. Those are all archived in our webinars on our website, and hope you take a look at that and just explore the plethora of things that our graduates are doing. It's really thrilling to me. And, you know, I certainly hope we've inspired you to learn more about health and nutrition with all the webinars we've offered over the years. And I'll remind you that we provide a variety of nourishing programs and courses. So I encourage you to visit our website for more details. And, you know, lastly, that we offer these webinars freely, and your attendance really matters. But if you can support our mission, please consider a donation to help us continue. It's simple. From our website, find the donate button at the bottom of the page under other links and click it. Okay, and lastly, I want to say I'm really grateful to do this work of the webinars with James Bernardinelli, who co-produces and engineers these. So thank you, James. And I want to thank you again, Angela. It's really terrific to have you with us.
Thank you, Paula, and thank you, Hawthorn.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for sharing this educational experience with us. As always, I wish you all the best of health, and I look forward to learning more together at Hawthorn University's webinar and All About Alumni series. Until then, take good care of each other.